In the wake of the THQ bankruptcy, companies like Nordic Games and Deep Silver were quick to snatch up the publisher's lucrative back catalog. This involved a number of big franchises, including Saints Row, Darksiders, and Red Faction. With most of these games seeing remastered ports on current-generation consoles, it was only a matter of time before MX vs. ATV Supercross revved up for another race. It's a shame the bad graphics and performance issues have come along for the ride. As the title suggests, MX vs. ATV Supercross Encore gives players control over both motocross bikes and four-wheel all-terrain vehicles. It's a by-the-books racing game that sees our rider jetting all across the country trying to take on other hopefuls in a series of 3-lap events. Come in first and you'll unlock new accessories, bike upgrades, and championships to race. If you've played a racing simulator at any point in the last decade, then you already know what to expect from this iteration. When this game was first introduced on last-generation consoles, it was limited to the Supercross circuit. While this was packed with 17 different locations, they were all bland indoor stadiums that lacked personality. For this Encore edition, Nordic has superglued events and modes found in previous MX vs. ATV outings, including some much-needed outdoor settings and different race types. The campaign mode has players competing in more than a dozen tournaments. Here you'll race bike versus bike, ATV against ATV, and a merging of the two. Although there are important differences between the motocross bikes and the all-terrain vehicles, the two largely handle the same. The tracks are filled with jumps and bumps, so players will need to adjust their vehicle while in the air. You do this by using the right analog stick, and it will allow racers to get the most out of every landing. Much like past installments, players can choose between a wide assortment of real-life drivers. There aren't many times when you'll see their likenesses, but at least their names and numbers are represented. The game also offers some light accessorizing and upgrading, though don't expect anything too involved. And much to the delight of anybody who played last year's model, the unlocking process has been streamlined. You won't need to do nearly as much grinding to gain access to the most interesting content. Although the Supercross is split up into a bunch of different championships, they all start to run together after a while. Apart from the title card reminding you what city you're in, there's nothing significant to identify one stop from another. It doesn't help that every track looks identical. Sure, there are different patterns and jumps, but everything from the dirt to the advertisements repeat from city to city. Thankfully, the other half of MX vs. ATV is a lot more interesting. Things pick up once we're given a chance to escape the bleak confines of the huge stadiums. The new settings see us flying through forests, beaches, deserts, and more. It finally gives the developer a chance to flex their artistic muscle and show off colorful locations. If the taste of fresh air wasn't good enough, these outdoor settings come with a bunch of new race modes. Some of the events aren't much different from the indoor variety, but there are a couple that go beyond the regular lap races. For example, the Waypoint mode has you racing over a large open environment trying to reach checkpoints before the other drivers. There's also a free ride mode that allows players to explore the new areas. Unfortunately, these outdoor locations take a hit in both graphics and performance. From the moment the race starts, it's blatantly obvious that MX vs. ATV Supercross Encore has not been optimized for modern consoles. The textures have a bad habit of popping in out of nowhere, and lining trees flicker uncontrollably. If that's not enough, the frame rate is all over the place. The game begins to chug whenever we're treated to one of the colorful vistas. This racer needed a little more time in the oven. Even if you ignore the performance issues, MX vs. ATV Supercross Encore lacks the kind of depth you expect from this type of game. The campaign is straightforward to the point of monotony, and the trick system is non-existent. Race fans may still get a kick out of the multiplayer modes, but battling my way through the single-player content was a real snooze. Hopefully the next stop is a proper next-generation MX vs. ATV game, because this series deserves better. Hey, thanks for watching my review. This week we've been all over the place. We started it off with a review of Dark Years, which is the single worst game of the year. It's not even a contest. I suggest you check that out right now if you haven't already. We followed that up with Pixel Junk Shooter Ultimate, which is now out on Steam. And here we are with MX vs. ATV. We'll be posting a brand new episode of Online Pass, the weekly video game news quiz, on Sunday, so make sure and tune in for that. We also have a bunch of reviews ready to go up next week, including Voxel Blast. I recommend you click the subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.